The other day, I decided that I have already done lots of normal terrariums, and why not spice things up with a challenge? I am super excited to try these super tiny terrariums, but I'm also nervous because I've never worked this tiny. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video so that you can vote on which terrarium is your favorite down in the comments. If you want to be among the first people to see new, nicer videos, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Now, without further ado, let's get started with the video. The other day, I was poking around at some old jars and found these reclaimed spice containers and mini jam jars. I have always been quite interested in making super tiny terrariums, but I have never had quite small enough containers to try. For the false bottoms, I'm using a different substrate than usual, charcoal. I have used a Swiss Army knife to cut off the shreds of charcoal and put them into a container. What I have gathered in watching other terrarium videos and learning about the best types of substrates to use, charcoal is a very great false bottom because it helps the water cycle be cleaner. Towards the end of this video, I will talk more about the cycle of water and how it plays out in a closed terrarium. For the next layer of my terrariums, I will be using some regular soil. Now, I gathered some local plants. Like I have mentioned in previous terrarium builds, I always make sure to leave some of each plant in each spot so that I have a sustainable source of plants for future builds. Here are the plants that I gathered. While I'm not an expert on all of the specific scientific names of each of these plants, I know that I did get a variety of moss and normal plants. Now, we can start the build. First, I gathered several handy tools that would help me be more detailed when working at this skill. I grabbed a tweezers, I grabbed a toothpick for tiny poking, I grabbed a piece of paper which I folded in half. This will help me pour in the smaller substrates. And finally, I gathered a few chopsticks to work with the bigger objects such as plants. To begin assembling my first terrarium, I delicately poured about ½ an inch of shaved charcoal, using a folded piece of paper like I talked about. I repeated this step for the rest of my terrariums. I now added in the soil using a similar approach. I again repeated the step with the rest of the jars. I took a moment to clean up my desk and remove all of the dirt. Now, it was time to add the life of the terrarium. I started by working on the smallest of the terrariums and worked my way up. This way, I would have the flexibility on which plants would be able to fit in the smallest of the jars. I also made sure to include a few small sticks and rocks, which would help add some variance and texture. Other than that, this process ended up being really fun in the sense that I was able to be creative in the layouts of the plants. I did do something differently in this video that I would like your feedback on in the comments, and what I did was I left all of the scenes where I made mistakes so that you could learn from them and try not to make them yourself. Let me know if you think this is helpful in the comments, and I will take that into account for future videos. If you happen to know the names of one or more of the plants that I'm using, I would be very grateful if you could write that in the comments, and I would love to learn about the plants that I'm using. One tip that you may or may not have gathered is that I like to work with the slightly bigger plants first, using the ones that go on the sides, as you can see here, and then I work from there. I go to the smaller plants that are also happen to be lower down, like the mosses. This will help organize the terrarium in a way that doesn't let other plants be on top of each other. At this point, I sprayed each of the terrariums with a very light dash of water. The way the water cycle works is as follows. Once you close the terrarium with water, the water will go through the typical water cycle. The water will sink to the bottom, be soaked up by the plants, and then evaporate to the sides and the lid of the terrarium. Having a closed terrarium allows the water to be trapped inside and go through the whole water cycle many times. Please let me know in the comment section what your favorite micrarium was. And if you like this video, please consider pressing the thumbs up. Both of these will help me know what you like seeing on NiceArt, and I will take that into account when creating new videos. If you want to be among the very first people to view new NiceArt videos, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications for NiceArt. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in the comment section and interact with you, and I also hope to see you in future NiceArt videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.